At this point, you've gotten a basic understanding of the requirements of fall protection here at the University of Kentucky. Now let's take a deeper dive into a few key pieces of equipment that make up your personal fall arrest system. The full body harness, the lanyard, and the self-retracting lifeline, or the SRL. These items work together to keep you safe when working at heights. If any one of them is damaged, used incorrectly, or not inspected properly, your system can fail. And at any height, failure isn't an option. So let's start with the foundation of your fall protection, your full body harness. Your harness is designed to spread out the forces of a fall across the strongest parts of your body, your thighs, hips, chest, and shoulders. It's your first line of defense, and it only works if it's in good shape and fitted properly. So let's dive into your harness and go over some of the main parts. You've got the D-ring, which is located right between your shoulder blades. That's your main connection point for your lanyard or SRL. Then there's the webbing, made from high-strength synthetic fibers. That's what actually holds your body in the harness. You'll also see buckles and adjusters on the legs, chest, and shoulders. Those allow you to tighten or loosen the harness for a proper fit. The leg straps go around your thighs and help support your weight during a fall. The chest strap keeps the shoulder straps from spreading apart, and the shoulder straps distribute the forces evenly across your body. And finally, the label pack. That's where you'll find important information like the manufacturer, model number, serial number, and the inspection records. And speaking of records, let's talk about inspections. Before you put on your harness, inspect it every single time. Start by holding it up by the D-ring and letting it hang freely. Check for frayed edges, cuts, burns, chemical stains, or areas that look stiff or shiny. These can all be signs of damage. Next, look at the stitching. Make sure all the threads are intact. No loose or broken stitches. Check the hardware, the D-ring, the buckles, the grommets. Check for cracks, rust, or sharp edges. Try all of the buckles to make sure they open and close smoothly. And check the label. If you can't read the information on it, that harness should be taken out of service. If you find anything that doesn't look right, just don't wear it. Inform your supervisor and make sure you tag it out so nobody else can use it. So after you've inspected your harness, you can now begin putting it on. So let's talk about how to make sure that you have a proper fit. Start out by holding it by the D-ring and shake it so all of the straps fall into place. Step into it like you would a vest. Tighten the leg straps first. They should be snug, but not cutting off circulation. You should be able to fit a flat hand between the strap and your leg. Then adjust your shoulder straps, and finally, your chest strap. It should sit about mid-chest level, not up to your neck. The D-ring should sit right between your shoulder blades. Not too high, not too low. Once it's adjusted, move around and stretch a bit to make sure it stays in place. Now that you're wearing your harness correctly, let's talk about what could connect you to your anchor, your lanyard. A lanyard might look like a simple strap, but it's your lifeline. It's what ties your harness to your anchor, and it's a key part of your fall protection system. There are a few different types, and it's important to use the right one for the job. The most common is the shock absorbing lanyard. This includes an energy absorber. That's the little fabric pack that tears open during a fall. It helps slow you down and reduce the impact on your body. They come in single leg or dual leg styles. A dual leg lanyard lets you move between anchors while also staying tied off. That's what we call 100% tie off. Next, there's a restraint lanyard. This one's used to prevent you from reaching a fall hazard. It's usually shorter and doesn't have a shock absorber because it's not meant to arrest a fall. It's meant to keep you away from the fall hazard. Then there's the positioning lanyard. This lets you work hands-free while you're secured to a vertical surface, like a pole or a beam. It's for positioning only, not for fall arrest. You should always use it with another fall arrest system. And finally, you may see adjustable or retractable lanyards, which let you change the length to reduce slack and maintain better control of your work zone. So that said, just like your harness, you always want to make sure to inspect your lanyard. Check the webbing for cuts, frays, burns, or any chemical damage. If the material is discolored, stiff, or melted, that's a sign of exposure to heat or chemicals, and take it out of service. If it has a shock absorber, make sure the cover isn't torn or deployed. If the pack has been activated, even slightly, it's done. Replace it. Check the hardware, the hooks, and the carabiners. Make sure the gates open and close automatically, and that there's no rust, cracks, or distortion. Look at the stitching for loose or broken threads. And finally, make sure that the label is legible legible and the inspection record is current. If anything looks questionable, tag it and report it. So let's talk about how to properly use a lanyard. When using a lanyard, always connect to a proper anchor point rated for at least 5,000 pounds per person. Connect the lanyard to your back D-ring on your harness. That's the one between your shoulder blades. That's the only place designed for a fall arrest. Keep your anchor point above you whenever possible. The higher the anchor point, the shorter the fall. Working with your anchor below your D-ring increases fall distance and risk. Watch out for any sharp edges. They can cut a lanyard during a fall, and use edge-rated equipment if you have to work near edges. And if you're using a dual leg lanyard, stay tied off at all times. One leg moves, one stays connected, no exceptions. Now let's move to another important piece of gear, the self-retracting lifeline, or the SRL. An SRL is like a seatbelt for working at heights. It extends and retracts automatically as you move, and if you fall, it locks instantly, stopping your fall in a matter of inches. The main components consist of the main body, which we call the housing. It contains the retracting spring and braking mechanism. The lifeline is the cable, the webbing, or the rope that extends and retracts as you move. At the end, you'll have a snap hook or a carabiner that connects you to your harness's D-ring. The anchor point or swivel top attaches to the structure or overhead anchor, and it keeps the line from twisting as you move. Some SRLs also have an energy absorber built in to further reduce the impact forces. And just like lanyards and harnesses, we always want to inspect the SRL before use. Check the housing for cracks or dents. Make sure the labels are intact and readable. Pull the lifeline out slowly and look for frays, cuts, broken wires, rust, or any contamination from grease or chemicals. Then test the retraction. Pull out a few feet of the line and let it retract. It should wind back smoothly without hesitation. Next, give it 3 sharp tugs to test the locking mechanism. It should lock immediately. If it doesn't, that SRL is unsafe. Immediately inform your supervisor and take that out of service. We also want to inspect the hook and the hardware. So in terms of using an SRL safely, we want to attach the SRL to a proper anchor point rated for 5,000 pounds. Keep the SRL directly overhead whenever possible to minimize swing fall hazards. If you work off to the side and fall, the swing can cause you to strike nearby structures. That's called a pendulum effect. Keep your lifeline vertical and tensioned. Now move slowly and avoid running or jerking the line. Keep it clean and clear of sharp edges or any pinch points. After each use, wipe it down, check for any damage, and store it in a clean, dry place, out of the sun and weather. And remember, SRLs should be inspected annually by a competent person and according to the manufacturer's recommendations. And finally, let's talk a little more about anchor points. That's because your fall protection is only as strong as what you're tied to. An anchor point is the secure spot where you can connect your lanyard or SRL. It's the foundation of your whole fall protection system. OSHA requires that each anchor point used for a personal fall arrest system must support at least 5,000 pounds per worker attached. That said, it can be designed and installed under the supervision of a qualified person to provide an equivalent safety factor. That's a lot of force, and it's because during a fall, your weight multiplies dramatically. A 200-pound person can generate well over 1,000 pounds of force in just a short fall, so the anchor has to handle it without failing. Remember, good anchor points are structural and always secure. These are things like structural steel beams, designated roof anchors, engineered anchor posts, sturdy building columns, or properly rated overhead systems. These are the things that are designed or verified to take that load. If you're ever unsure, ask your supervisor or your safety professional to verify the anchor before you clip in. That said, there are more bad anchor points than good ones. Bad anchor points are usually things that are convenient and not safe. Some common examples are guardrails or handrails, conduit or piping pipes, scaffold frames, electrical panels, ladders, or small pieces of equipment. These things might hold your weight when you lean on them, but they won't hold up to the force of a fall. Whenever possible, keep your anchor point directly overhead to reduce the risk of a swing fall. The higher the anchor, the less distance you'll fall, and the less force will be on your system. And remember, the anchor is just as important as your harness or lanyard. If the anchor fails, everything fails. So always inspect it. Make sure it's rated and approved, and never tie off to something unless you're certain it can handle the load. So as we come to an end, it's worth noting your harness, lanyard, or SRL are designed to work together as a system, but only if each piece is in good condition and used correctly. Inspect them before every use. Use them as they were intended, and never take a shortcut when it comes to fall protection. So stay tied off, stay safe, and we'll see you next time. Go Cats.